See, now, I move for the masses. With is a different case, though. I disgrace fake friendship. Judas, if you say so. I prefer solitude. Burning them bridges is how I set my soul on fire. My state of mind is oversized, so being real is a misfit. So I reel to grams fit. My poetry sneaks through your veins like the thing with fangs. I'm just a poet, but the excellence precedes me. Slim Shaka. All through my childhood and coming up, I never really knew how to express myself. I found myself in a space where I get to read a lot because I constantly felt like I never had the words. And I would take an emotion and then go and write it down. And then later I realized, okay, so it's an actual art. You can do it on stage. And then now you can communicate somebody else's feelings. And so when I go on stage, I find myself living. That is why I do it. The trip to Zambia was quite interesting because I was very curious to understand how the Zambian people see the role of art in activism, how the process has been for them, and if it's the same as the struggles that we go through. The struggles that we go through as artists, they're vast. You would say there's the challenge with we who consider ourselves the digital natives, young people, and the gap with those who came before us. The gap in how we consume art and how they consume their art. And the challenge has mostly been relatability. The question is, do we really feel like we are being understood, or are we just speaking into the void? Or has art already just evolved and become a tool for entertainment rather than driving a particular cause? I found the Zambians being a bit reserved in how they approach their art, how they approach their politics. You could almost say with caution, the way the Zambian artists always have a way of quoting and having the audience decipher what this particular piece means. This kind of exposed me to the differences in societies, the differences in political environment in our different countries. And I realized, in as much as it's acceptable in my country, with the Zambians, of course, I got this layering. What I'd say really stood out for me was the storytelling and social media, largely because I have been in a path of trying to understand exactly how social media works. For mental health, it has always been, for me, the question that people have: who takes care of the caregiver? And also storytelling sessions where I got to understand how you can mine stories from our everyday life. The workshop by Defenders on digital security was quite interesting because I got to understand how one is sharing my data out there can be a risk for me. The data inside things like photographs, can have someone trace me. But also what stood out for me in that session was identifying phishing and understanding how this happened, how phishing attacks more like take the same appearance as very genuine organizations. What I learned about the role of art and poetry in becoming a tool for change makers is poetry has the power of relatability, and poetry has the power to show people that we understand your desperation, we understand where you're coming from, we understand what hope looks like for you, and maybe this is a chance for us to take this particular path. We also had moments where the Zambian poets We had a conversation of maybe in future having their spoken word scene integrate with ours, because we realized they do not have a very vibrant scene, but we do have a very vibrant scene, so we can share ideas on how we do it this side, and maybe they getting to borrow. We are yet to do the first, but it's definitely in the pipeline. I have been able to share some of the skills that I learned, especially the aspect of digital security that was taught to us by defenders. I found it very essential how creatives can drive environmental change more effectively. One would be to be honest with our stories and understanding what environmental consequences look like, where we are coming from, and where we are headed to as a people. The biggest question that young creatives are asking is, how do we generate an income out of this? The simple tools as power of networking, understanding the importance of intentional networking, and you understanding your personal value, identifying people who would find you resourceful. It has to start from somewhere. Cham created a family. We formed a community right there, and a space of love, caring, understanding, no judgment, that will go on and on and on, even way after the program. And I feel that's a beautiful thing.